Are you ready to add a breathtaking touch to your quilts with ombres? Keep watching. Hi, it's Fran Morgan with Fabric Cafe, and today we are talking ombre. Now I'm going to tell you, it's going to be one of my new loves because ombres add so much pizzazz to your quilts. So what exactly is an ombre? An ombre is a fabric that changes from one selvage to the next. Basically, in a nutshell, that's what we're talking about. Now that change can be in many different forms. It can be in a color where it's one color on one selvage and another color on another selvage, on the opposite selvage, or it could also include a print. So sometimes the print is a little less on the top, and then the print gets more dense as it goes to the other selvage. I'm going to show you a bunch of images all throughout this video so that you can see the full image of these gorgeous fabrics. But let's go ahead and jump in and look at a quilt made with an ombre. So our first quilt here is Town Square. Isn't this phenomenal? It is absolutely gorgeous. Now I'm going to point the ombre out. So here we have it in our focus position, our number one position, and all of these squares came from the same yard of fabric. But because it's an ombre and it's changing colors, what happens is it looks like they all came from a different yard, but they didn't. It's still a 3-yard quilt. So let's put this on the table. Let's look at that closer and see how we used it. So our ombre is in our focus position, as I mentioned before. And as you can see, just from the little bit that we have here, we've got this gorgeous print that looks like a garden with all of these beautiful flowers. We have some great little friendly bumblebees here. Perfect. Now, if you look at the screen here, we have a great image of this fabric from selvage to selvage, completely opened up so that you can see how it goes from these beautiful golds to these blues and greens and oranges. Fantastic. So basically, when you go to start your 3-yard quilt pattern, Town Square for instance, it's gorgeous in this one, you're going to cut those blocks just like the pattern says, don't change a thing, and then you're going to get the variation just from the nature of the fabric, and it's gorgeous. Now, we have our number one ombre here, our beautiful garden. It does go in our number one, and as you can see, we have a little bit of blue purple here, a little bit of green here. Absolutely gorgeous. Now to really bring in and hone in on that ombre and all of those colors, we have put it with two kind of simple textures. We've got our green here as our number 2 that borders it, and then our beautiful navy blue that also borders here. And what this is going to do is it's going to frame that ombre. It's going to bring in all of the colors from the ombre so that it really highlights it and makes it the star of the show, which is what we always want to do with our focus fabric, right? In this case, it's just this gorgeous ombre. All right, so let's get some kit information. But before I do that, I want to mention really quick, this ombre is also available by the yard. So if you're doing a quilt and you want to do the quilt kit and you want to make it a little bigger, make some extra pieces to coordinate with it or anything like that, we do have it by the yard on our website. Just go to fabriccafe.com under the fabric tab. All right, this beautiful kit. It is 8023238. It is called Wild Blossoms. It is the Town Square pattern from the Easy Peasy book. Now the next pattern that we're going to put an ombre fabric into is called Curio. And this is a really fun pattern to do. This is basically a snowball here, which makes it comes together so simple. It really does. The pattern is great. And then we have this great sashing that's made with these extra blocks. And we have got a stunning ombre and fabric combination for you. So let's get it on the table so we can check that out and the images. Okay, so we have Curio on the table, and here is our kit. Now I want to tell you, when we started working with these fabrics and putting them in the images, and I know Jessica helps me a lot with that, I was floored at how gorgeous these were. So our first ombre that's going to go in the focus fabric is this beautiful green. Now as you can see on the screen, we've got that great image for you showing the fabric selvage to selvage so you know exactly what it looks like. And as you can see, on one edge where the selvage is, it's a little bit simpler with the green, and then as it goes down, the pattern and the leaves and everything just get beautiful and full. So that is what we're working with. So that is going to go in our focus position here, and we're going to talk about positioning these in just a moment. So it's going to go in this big snowball block here. Now our number 2 is this gorgeous, these are like bubbles, these are like, I don't even know what to call this, but it's just so scrumptious and it goes together so well with our ombre. And this number 2 is going to go in the corners here and on our joining blocks here, our sashing blocks. And isn't this just great together? It's like the greens and the blues and it's just, like I said, scrumptious. Okay. Our number 3 fabric is this navy. It has kind of a similar print as our number 2, but it's really all one color. And it's going to bring all of these other blues in, which really gives us that pop. This blue is going to go everywhere this kind of turquoisey blue is on this Curio quilt. And it just truly looks stunning. Now, let's talk about positioning. So when you're using ombres, one of the things that we like to do is find a pattern, in this case Curio, that we're cutting the blocks independent of each other. So they're not in a strip piece or anything like that. So we've cut our squares to make our snowball. Now once you make your snowballs, you're going to want to lay out and plan your quilt. So I'm going to show you an image first of the Curio made with this ombre. Now what we've done here is we have randomly placed our snowball blocks, and as you can see, the print kind of goes in different positions, and so there's darks randomly placed and lights randomly placed, and it looks gorgeous. It looks amazing, but you plan that, so be sure to lay your pieces out. Now I'm going to show you a second image. What we've done on this image is we've laid it out and we've placed the blocks in such a way that the light's at the one end and the dark is at the other end. So we've got light at the bottom, dark at the top, and you can see it almost gives you that feeling like you're looking through a window at this beautiful scenery. And it's just perfect. So kind of play with your blocks once you make them, position them the way you love them, and get them so perfect and make that incredibly scrumptious quilt that this is. So I really, really love it. Now, we always have extra images on our website. So Curio is only available in a book, this pattern. So we also have an alternate pattern, and if you would like to see the ombre made up in that alternate pattern, just visit our website, fabriccafe.com, check out those kits, and those images will be there for you. Okay, let me get you the kit information. Our number is 8023239. It is called Daybreak. This is the Curio pattern from the Make It Modern book, and our alternate pattern that we're suggesting is Easy Street. So our next quilt that we're going to be working with is called Perfect Match. And this is a really fun quilt. It really goes together great. It's actually a 1-block quilt. So we're making the same block over and over again, and we're rotating them. But we are shifting up the fabric just a little bit. Now I have a gorgeous kit for you, so let's check that out. Now this one is a little simpler. It is still an ombre. So we have this gorgeous kind of blue and green texture with the golds in it. And let's check out the image on the screen so you can see what it looks like selvage to selvage. You can see how that color changes. It's just this beautiful flow, almost looks like a beautiful stone or something. It's absolutely breathtaking. Now our number 1 is going to go everywhere this kind of a blue-green print is here with this a little bit larger print. And it really is, wait till you see the image. This is going to be amazing. So then our number 2, it is also an ombre, and you're going to be able to see that on the screen there so that you can see how that is also shaded, and it gives you that variation in color, and it's just gorgeous. So our number 2 is going to go here in our opposite block here in this bigger part that looks a little bit smaller print on this one. And so you can see where that goes. Now our number 3, we are going to border these where the blue is with this great brown. And what that does is it gives you that earthy grounding, and it frames all of our ombres so perfectly. So it is gorgeous. Now, I want to talk just a minute about working with ombres for your borders, because there is a little trick to doing this. So I want to show you. So I have a strip here cut from our fabric. And as you can see, we have dark to light. So, and you can see how it goes. So whenever you're sewing your strips end to end for your border pieces or sashing pieces or anything like that, the trick on working with ombres to do this, to give you that really beautiful flow that you're looking for, almost like it's just been watercolored or something, you want to make sure that when you put your ends together, you put your dark ends, let me just do this. You're sewing you're matching your dark ends so that whenever it flows down the border on your quilt, it looks very continuous. If you were to sew your light end to a dark end, it's going to kind of give you that harsh edge that you don't really want. So always keep in mind to sew your dark ends together and your lights ends together so that it creates that beautiful continuous color. And let's look at the image of this quilt. Now, remember what I said on the last one about planning it out and laying your blocks out so that they're just perfect? This is another one you're going to want to do that, because when you look at this image, you can see how we laid them out, and it creates this, it's like there's light behind some of the squares. It's really absolutely incredible. And I just love how some are light, some are dark, and it just, oh, it's just so yummy. So it's absolutely gorgeous. Now, all of these kits we do have available online, but I want to kind of give you a heads up. We do have limited quantities of all these ombre kits, so you're going to want to hustle over there pretty quick and get them, because these are gorgeous and they're going to go fast. So be sure and do that. All right, let's get the kit information for you so that you can go check that out. This one is called Cavern Falls. The number is 8023241. The pattern is a perfect match from the Quilts on the Double Book, and an alternate if you're looking for a single pattern is So Fast. And don't forget, we have those images there too. So this one is our square up quilt, and it's really a fun pattern to do, and it's even more fun with ombre because we've got this little 4-patch right in the middle, and these are all going to change just like the one that you see here, and then all of this is going to change color too as you sew those extra pieces around it. Now we have some pieces and parts for you, so you're going to see what I mean by that in just a minute, and let's get it on the table then. Okay, so on this one we have this really cool ombre. We have these pinks and these reds. Now all 3 of these fabrics are ombres. Now we've chosen our pink here as our number 1. So let's look at the image on the screen, and you're going to notice something very different about this ombre. And that is, it's dark on the selvages and it gets lighter in the middle. But not just that, the dots on it are a little bit more close together at the selvages, and in the middle they kind of get sparse. So what this does is it gives you that double interest. Not only does the color change, but the pattern changes. So it's very cool. So here is our pink. It is our number 1 fabric. It is going to go everywhere you see the green here on the square up. Then our number 2. Now let's check out that image on the screen, and you can see once again we've got less dots in the middle, more dots near the selvage, but this one doesn't necessarily change in color quite the same way, which is okay. It's really great. And ombre just means that it changes across from selvage to selvage. So this is going to be a great number 2 because it's going to give us that place to rest like we always talk about. And you can see on this quilt our number 2 is the white, and that is where this one will go. Of course, it's in every single block in different positions, in different placement. And then our number 3. Now our number 3 is a little bit darker, kind of that raspberry pink there. And also, as you can see on the screen, it's going to get darker at the selvage edges, and then it's going to get lighter in the middle. And then that dot pattern changes a little bit too. So it's a little quieter in the center, which all that's doing is giving us a little bit more interest. Now our number 3 is going to go everywhere the blue is on this one, and it's going to give you a great interest. Now I've got some pieces and parts. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to make the very small 4-patch right here. Not very small, it's this 4-patch here. So we have 2 ombre strips that we have sewn together, and as you can see, we have put it together. We've got our dark ends and our middle, and you can see when we cut our units off of this, you're going to get lots of variation. So for instance, this unit came from more of the end here, and then this unit kind of came from the middle. What I would do whenever I put this together is I would take some from the ends and some from the middle and put them together, because that's going to make your four patch really cool and interesting. So I've got one of those here. Let me show you that. All right. So as you can see from this one here, let me pull this over so it's not right up against. All right, so you can see like this one is our lighter one, and then this one is our darker one. And I like doing that because I think it adds more interest to your four patch. Okay, so let's start building that block. Let's get it on the quilt. This one is gonna go right here. Now, it does still have its seam allowances on it, so remember that's the reason why it looks just a little bit bigger. All right, the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna start putting our pieces around the edges. Now, you can try to plan this a little bit if you want to and kind of match, like there's more dots here, so this is closer to the selvage. Then these pieces here will then be sewn on next. And as you can see, some of these are from the middle because there's not as many dots, and then this one kind of fades. Sometimes whenever I work with it, I kind of like to match the ends that have more dots and then the ends that have less dots if I can as I'm going. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But you know what? It doesn't matter. It's going to look gorgeous whether you do it or not, okay? So let's get the last layer on here. We're going to sew these on, and then we're going to sew a top and bottom on here and here, and then we're going to get our sides on here. So like here's a good example. So this one has a few more dots on it, this one has a few less, this one has a few less, and so does that one. So we're kind of matching them the best that we can. I just think it's fun that way. Gives a lot of dimension and a lot of depth, and I just love how that goes pink right there. Isn't that the coolest thing? I just love it. All right, now also want to mention on this particular ombre especially, because it's the same colors on the ends and it changes colors in the middle, you don't have to worry so much about sewing those border pieces together because they're going to match no matter what direction you go. And I'm going to just pull this over here so you can see this. So here's one strip, here's the end, and it goes a lighter in the middle. So when you start sewing these ends together, they're going to match perfectly and you don't have to worry about it. So this is super cool. I just love this, and this makes a fun quilt. Let's check out that image. As you can see on the screen, it just went together so well. Just love all those raspberry pinks in there and the reds and the gold dots. It's just a party on a quilt. Love it. It just turned out so well. All right, the kit information on this one. This is called Confetti Magic, and the number is 8023240. It is called Square Up from our Make It Modern book, and the alternate pattern for a single pattern is Illusions. Now this is picture perfect, and we have got some fabulous fabric for you that has a great ombre that's a little bit different than what we've seen before. It's going to work well because we're going to have a great focus spot here, and then we're going to have an ombre spot here and a nice border. So instead of me just showing you here, let's go look at it on the table. Okay, so we have some really different and pretty fabric here. We have these magnolias that are on black, and are they not stunning? They have this texture to them that looks like a mosaic tile, which is so very cool. The leaves also have this. It's just stunning on the black as well. So this is our focus fabric. It is not an ombre. It is going to be going everywhere you see the blue on this quilt here. It's going to give you that nice big block so you really can see these magnolias. Okay, our number 2 fabric. Now this is very interesting. This fabric picks up all the mosaic look of the magnolias. So we're repeating that pattern again, which you know I love to do, and it really gives an interesting look. Now let's check out this fabric because this one is an ombre. So as you can see from the image on the screen, we've got an ombre that goes dark on one side and light to the other side, and it really is very interesting. And in just a minute, I'm going to show you an image of what this is going to look like in the quilt, because you're probably going, I don't get it. How is this going to work? We're going to show you. But this is going to go in the number 2 position. That is everywhere you see the beige here, a little bit on the border as well. And then we have our number 3 here. Now our number 3 is not an ombre, but it is a gorgeous fabric. It has this green, the different shades of green in it, a little bit of creams in there as well that pick up the leaf color. This is going to go everywhere you see kind of this brick red here. And that is going to really frame everything. And it's going to help frame your number 2 ombre as well, which I think in this case is going to be a little bit important because the ombre is going to change colors. So let's go ahead and look at that image so that you can see what I'm referring to. And what happens with this is that it kind of makes it look like it's glowing from behind. Now we chose to do a random placement on this ombre instead of having like light at the top and dark at the bottom. We went ahead and mixed it up because I wanted to give that feeling of, wow, there's something behind that quilt, that light behind the quilt that's giving you the shadows and the light. It's just incredibly gorgeous. And this fabric is just awesome. All right, so let's get some kit info for you on this one. It is called Midnight Magnolias 8023242. It is the picture perfect pattern from the Quick and Easy book. All right, this next quilt is called Puzzle Me This, and this is a cool one. And you know, I've been using this a lot and really love it. I think it's because of the way that it's made with this kind of square in a square with this rail fence here. It gives me so much interest, and it gives me a really cool spot to put stripes, which I love to do, and I have an ombre that's gonna fit that ticket. So let's check it out. In our number 1 position for our pattern here, it's very cool. So here's an ombre that kind of acts like a stripe. Now it's not a total stripe because it has all of these lines, but it definitely has a direction like a stripe does. Now let's look at the image so that you can see the ombre completely from selvage to selvage and see how gorgeous the colors are in this. We have these pinks and these reds and these purples and these greens, and they're just all intertwined together and look amazing. So as our number 1 fabric, they're going to go right here. And what's really cool, so I said this is kind of like a stripe, but it's not a stripe. I know it's kind of funny, but it has this direction to it. So these are going to go like this, and then these pieces will go like this, so they'll box in. That is just the nature of the fabric and the way that you cut it, and it's going to look amazing. All right, our number 2 fabric. Now our number 2 fabric is not an ombre, but that's going to give us our resting point. It's this beautiful, beautiful cream. It is going to go everywhere this gold is here. And it's going to really help highlight all of these colors in our focus and in our number 3. All right, let's look at the number 3. Our number 3 is also an ombre. And as you can see, it picks up the darker purples and some of the lighter purples too in our number 1. It is also an ombre, so let's check out the image and you can see how it goes light to dark. It pretty much stays in the purple family, but it gives us the perfect number 3 to border our focus fabric. It is going to go everywhere the green is on this one. Now remember what I said about number 1, how the stripes are going to go like this and like this? Well, this one also has that quality. These stripes are going to go this way, and then on the border, they'll go in this way. It's very, very cool. Really like it. All right, let's check out the image because it turned out really neat. And as you can see, the way that those stripes are placed, that's going to happen naturally. You don't need to make it happen. When you cut the strips from the fabric, the pattern is written in such a way, they're going to fall perfectly. And I love the way this changes colors. It is absolutely gorgeous. Don't forget, there's limited quantities of these, so be sure to hurry over and get these. Another really cool thing on these 2 is this one and the Magnolia kit that I showed you just a moment ago. Both patterns that we used in those are available in our Quick and Easy book. So this would be a great book to use your ombres with. And if you get 3 kits, you can choose this book for free, which is a super deal. This ombre kit, this gorgeous kit, the number is 8023243. It is called Amethyst Bliss. The pattern is Puzzle Me This from the Quick and Easy book. So this was so much fun today, going through all of these ombre fabrics and learning something new and being so surprised at all of the beautiful quilts that we saw today in those images. So have you worked with ombres? Have you any tips that I didn't cover today? I would love to hear. And are there any other fabric styles that you would love to know more about? I'd love to know that as well. Thanks so much for joining us. It's Fran Morgan.